Hi there! Welcome again to my channel. If you're new here, I am April San Pedro and I mostly film art journal videos. I also have watercolor paintings and journaling, and sometimes I also do studio vlogs if there's something interesting, or at least there's something that I'm doing in the studio. Now, I also have a playlist that I call Art Supplies. So, this is where I share most of the supplies that I normally used or just bought, or sometimes I'm intrigued with and I get a chance to buy them. And I just thought that it would be nice to share what I think about it, or maybe if someone else is also looking for the same brand or same tools or the materials, maybe it would be helpful for them before buying it. And I also have this category, if I may say, in my blog, which I called Wednesday Book Club. Now, I'm a very fan of books. I normally get my references through books, and although I wouldn't really say that I'm a geek, but I really love buying books or at least learning from the books. And this is one of my not recent purchase, but I purchased this long time ago, and I just saw it and I realized I think this would be nice as a book review. Now, if you want to see more of the books that I shared, you can go to my blog. It's www.imartisan.com, and you can also check my art supplies playlist here on YouTube, so you can also run through some of the I think I reviewed one book already, a watercolor book, and some supplies. Alright, so let's go on with the book that I want to share with you now. Okay, so this one, it's a very handy book, as you can see. It's just thin, hardcover, but it's very lightweight. And I believe they have a lot of series about painting and in general, so different kinds of painting, so from watercolor, from pastel to oil to urban sketching, which is this one, and then they have this one, just a generic one for those who want to learn more about colors. And so when I saw this one a long time ago, I was really attracted because, for one, I am very bad with colors. Some people may find it hard to believe because I tell myself I like to paint. And one thing about painting is you deal or you use a lot of colors, but that's actually one big problem that I have. I'm not really a colorblind, but I can't really distinguish a slight color or a different slight color from one color to the other, one shade to the other. And I have a hard time mixing or learning the basics of mixing colors. So that's the reason why I bought this, because I want to study more about colors. And as for this book, The Urban Sketching and Painting, I was watching Tio Chi. I think that's his name. Tio Chi's YouTube vlog, and I am really fascinated with his urban sketching. He makes it look very simple and interesting and very it's a style that I wanted to try, but just so I would know if I like it, or if it's for me, or if it's easy or something. Because that's one thing, I think that's one thing that I always try to do. I like trying out new things and perhaps studying if it's for me, or if it's for me or not. And one thing about urban sketching is because I really like watching some videos, or like at least some people who can just draw and paint on the street or just simply anywhere. Now, my room, or perhaps my studio, is my comfort zone when it comes to painting. So every now and then when I'm out and about, especially outdoor, I try to paint as much as I can or bring my watercolor materials. But I'm always stuck with landscapes. And I think, well, for one, that's my favorite subject or favorite topic. But when I saw urban sketching, I felt like I wanted to try it out. But unfortunately, though, these books were stuck on my bookshelves for a long time, and I'm really hoping that now that I'm reviewing it, I was scanning the pages and I realized, why didn't I read this book before, especially when you can still go out. Alright, so let's go on with the book that I want to share with you now. It's a very handy book, as you can see. It's just thin, hardcover, but it's very lightweight. And I believe they have a lot of series that talks about painting and in general, so different kinds of painting, so from watercolor, from pastel to oil to urban sketching, which is this one, and then they have this one, just a generic one for those who want to learn more about colors. And so when I saw this one a long time ago, I was really attracted because, for one, I am very bad with colors. Some people may find it hard to believe because I tell myself I like to paint. And one thing about painting is you use a lot of colors, but that's actually one big problem that I have. I'm not really a colorblind, but I can't really distinguish a slight color or a different slight color from one color to the other, one shade to the other. And I have a hard time mixing or learning the basics of mixing colors. So that's the reason why I bought this, because I want to study more about colors. And as for this book, The Urban Sketching and Painting, I was watching Tio Chi. I think that's his name. Tio Chi's YouTube vlog, and I am really fascinated with his urban sketching. He makes it look very simple and interesting and very it's a style that I wanted to try, but just so I would know if I like it, or if it's for me, or if it's easy or something to try to do. I like trying out new things and perhaps studying if it's for me, or if it's for me or not. And one thing about urban sketching is because I really like watching some videos, or like at least some people who can just draw and paint on the street or just simply anywhere. Now, my room, or perhaps my studio, is my comfort zone when it comes to painting. So every now and then when I'm out and about, especially outdoor, I try to paint as much as I can or bring my watercolor materials. But I'm always stuck with landscapes. And I think, well, for one, that's my favorite subject or favorite topic. But when I saw urban sketching, I felt like I wanted to try it out. But unfortunately, though, these books were stuck on my bookshelves for a long time, and I'm really hoping that now that I'm reviewing it, I was scanning the pages and I realized, why didn't I read this book before, especially when you can still go out. Okay, so let's talk about this book first. The title is Scholar Secrets. The publisher is Barrons, and I believe they call this book the series of pocket art guides. So you can see different titles that belongs in this series, I believe. Now, if you're an OC and you like collecting books, this would be a very good collection for you, because pretty sure there are a lot of different titles for this kind, and it will really look good on your bookshelves, like as you can see. So, alright, so this book, what I like about this one is it's pretty much straightforward. They make every topics when it comes to colors very easy and just light, if I would call it just lightweight. So if you don't really like reading text a lot, if you're like me and you process more with pictures and or more on visuals, then I can assure you this book is really the perfect one for you if you want to learn more about colors. So I'm marked some pages because these are the ones that I really want to concentrate more or read more about it. But I want to go through, so as you can see, so let's run through the book first. So as you can see, since it's just a very thin book, although it's hardbound, they tackle a lot of subjects, surprisingly. And if you're a beginner, this is really a good foundation for you when learning about colors. And if you're also already painting, or if you think that you're in the intermediate or advanced level, this is also a good, if I may say, back subject if you're not familiar with some of them. But if you are, then a refresher's course would be the right term for that. Okay, so I want to flip through the entire book. Now, I just want to say something about flipping through a book, because I read somewhere that some people are not comfortable about it because they felt that you are ripping off the author by flipping through the entire book. So it's like you're not giving credit, maybe, or like there's no more point of buying it because they already saw everything. But based from my experience, whenever I watch reviews or book reviews, I am more interested in buying the book because I saw the pages already and I want to read more about it. Now, I'm not gonna go through per page thoroughly, or perhaps I'm not gonna read and show or read the entire subject or topic about the book, but just more of like telling you what is it all about. So I believe that is just an icing of the cake. So it will give you more intrigue that, oh, there's this page about this and that, and you might be interested in, right? All right, okay, so let's go through this book. So yes, the title is Scholar Secrets. Now, as you can see here in the contents, they really talk about a lot of topics, and if I may say, it's really more of the basics and that you can apply in different medium that you're using. So let's say I like using watercolor and acrylic, but more on watercolor. So this book doesn't really tells you that this is just for a certain medium. So it is applicable to all kinds of colors. So whether you're using an oil, acrylic, watercolor, and even pastels. So they pretty much just covered the theories and the foundations of colors. So here we are. They just talk about the basic information. And now this is one thing that I am really poor at. So I am, believe it or not, I'm very poor with the basic primary, secondary colors and so on. And when I read this at first, it was truly helpful. Now they also show you different forms that you can do with colors. And now as you can see, you might actually find the pages or the visuals here in different style as yours. Like as for me, this, I know for a fact that this is not my kind of or my style. But one thing that is nice about this one is, since they're talking about, or the book is talking about basics, you can just use the information that you got from the book and you can use it in your own style. So the visuals may not be the same as yours, but if you're like me, I like looking at it as well because I want to try different styles. So I would know if it's for me or if I like doing this kind of style or not. So like this one, I tried doing chromatic positions or composition. Sorry, I like doing chromatic compositions before. Now that is one good study that I learned, and this book will talk about that as well. Now, what's nice about this book also is they also include a bit or a small part of you artists. So as you can see, they'll share about, or the book will share about Pablo Picasso here, and also how perhaps he did one of his paintings. So it's a very short study about an artist, which you will also be inspired because you will know that, oh, this is how this artist did his coloring or things like that. So one thing I also like about this is, so here they'll talk about black, white, and gray if you're into that as well. But if you're not, this is also a good study for learning values, tone and values. So this one has a bookmark because I like referring my paintings through a photo. So there are times that your photos will really have a black image or black subject as part of the reference. But here, as you can see, the book is teaching you that you can actually add different colors as part of your painting. So true enough, if you look at the picture, it will make sense because your eye will focus only on this part. Now, if you're looking at a painting, adding more colors instead of just the black will create an intrigue to your painting, right? So this is one thing that I want to read further because I have a lot of photo reference that has black subjects because I like moody or dark kind of photo reference. So yeah, this is also a nice topic, color harmony, because again, I really need help when it comes to colors. Alright, so this part is something that really caught my attention because it tells you how a certain color behaves and what will happen to it if you add this color. So like for instance, cadmium red, you should use orange to lighten it up instead of white. And there are some other colors also that they tell you that you shouldn't add white if you want to lighten it up, but add this kind of color. So I was really intrigued when I read this part, because I didn't know that, and that's added information when you're learning, or when you're learning about your colors. Now, I don't have cadmium in my palette because they're pretty much expensive, but at least I know that if you use cadmium red, because this is also, cadmium colors are very much popular. So the next time that I would buy one, I now know that to lighten it up, I just have to use orange. So that's something interesting. Now, this one is also something that I like because I am into landscape painting. And as you can see, here's another artist, William Turner. Now, as you can see here, they really tackle topics that has just 2 pages. Very easy to read. And if you just want to look at it and read one topic at a time, it's very easy at all. So you won't get bored, and at the same time, you'll get the idea right away. Now, you'll also notice that they are showing, or the book is showing, different artworks. So from acrylic, from oil, to watercolor, and even pastel. So yeah. So here, as you can see, it's very saturated, or if you like doing this kind of style, or if not, then you just actually know the difference, how to do it. And I believe that's one thing that is nice. So here you go. So this one is another bookmark page, because it is actually nice to know how to saturate, yeah, and the shadows. Now, if there's one thing that I lack and very much poor about, aside from colors, it's the shadows. And shadows is one of the important thing also when it comes to painting, because it adds interest to your subject, or to your painting. And this one talks about, you don't need to use black, or there are other colors that you can use as your shadows. So as you can see, the visuals are very colorful, and this one is a watercolor artwork. I like how versatile the visuals are. So you can actually compare it with acrylic and watercolor and pastel. However, if you're using one medium alone or only, just look at it as if, or just apply it to your medium. Okay, so here, now if you're into portraits, here's suggested colors for study for your neutrals. And this one is for glazing. This one is also very helpful. Now, if there's one thing I want to add in this book, it's probably more of a project page, or like they'll add something that you can practice on after reading a certain topic. But more or less, you can just practice this kind of based on the visuals. So like, let's say if you are studying about glazing, then you can just use these colors. But it would also be nice if they show an output, or an artwork that shows glazing, or with the same topic, so you can apply what you've learned from the topic. And here's another artist, Claude Monet is one of my favorite artists. Now here's a still life if you're into that. Now they also say here in the book that if you want to practice colors, it is best to practice with fruits or even with just an apple, because the color red that you see is not just red. So as you can see here, there's more color when you can see, or when it is pointed into the light, or if it's not. And so yeah, so as you can see, there's also color and abstraction, which I didn't see a while ago. It's also nice because they really tackle, or the book really tackle about a lot of subjects here. Okay, so Henry Matisse is also one of my favorite artists. So there you go. That's Color Secrets all about. I hope you liked this one and got intrigued to it. Okay, so for the next one, it's urban sketching painting. Now, if you're into urban sketching, I think you would really love this book. And if you are still into it, or if you want to learn about it, then this would be a very nice guide for you, because just same as the other book, it's really simple, straightforward, and they will give you, or the book will give you tips on how to simplify some of the subjects that you can paint or draw for the urban sketching style. So as you can see, if you're into urban sketching, I believe your reference is really more of an outdoor and urban. So here, it's going to show you more about like the shadows and then constructing color. Now this is, I believe, very important because most of the urban sketch artworks that I've seen, it's really full of colors, and I think this is one thing that got me interested in urban sketching, because I wanted to learn that. However, in the long run, I realized I believe I am a very lazy painter, so kind of having a hard time drawing the details and adding colors to it. But like, I've been following Theo Chi, and he really makes a very detailed photo reference into a simple urban sketch, which I cannot understand how he did that, but yet very inspiring. So here, if you wanted to use or wanted to do panoramas, it gives you a perspective. And so most of the urban sketchers that I've been following, they mostly used watercolor. So here you can see how to actually draw and paint with buildings. This would be a very nice subject for your painting. Now here they make the buildings really simplified. So how to start by drawing just by referring to through a box. Also another style, if you wanted to do with collage. Now, unlike or contrary from the first book, this one is something that you can follow. It's not a how-to book. It's just more of guiding you, simplified guide. So like, I'm a very lazy reader, and sometimes this kind of books really works for me best, because I just like watching or looking at the picture, and then sometimes if I cannot understand how this thing happened, then that's the only time that I like reading thoroughly. So if you're like that, this one would be very helpful, because you don't need to read a lot. So here again, like, if you wanted to draw shadows and just wanted to use one color, most of the urban sketchers I saw used watercolor, but the book will also show you if you're using pastels. Now, I'm not sure if using pastel or other medium would be applicable if you're doing it on the scene exactly. But I think some of the artists, what they do is they sketch out the subject first whenever they're outside, and then they just color it whenever they have time or when they're at home. But there are also artists who really does everything outdoors, which is very fantastic and very inspiring. So here, now this is one thing that I really want to learn. If you're familiar with Alvaro Castanet, I'm not sure if I pronounce his name right. Um, One of his styles are somewhat like this, and I really wanted to learn how to do this, but I never had a time or haven't tried it yet. But I really want to learn the style of adding different colors in, like as you can see, this is just a road. But if I were to paint this, I would just probably use one or two colors with distinct or very different way. So like here you can see there are still details of people on the side, but it's a mix of detailed yet undetailed style, meaning like you can see there are a lot of people on the side, but you cannot the image does not include the eyes or the expressions, but you know that there are other people on the side. So I actually want to learn that, but it takes a lot of patience to do so. And here, now also one thing that I want to learn are the cars, moving cars, and of course the people or the portraits, figure as they may call it. Now I want to learn something like this. Like, there's people, but you don't have to draw them intricately. So here, there's a way to simplify your figures, which is very nice. Now you can also imitate rain by doing so. Now here's the cars that I mentioned a while ago. So as you can see, a simple street photo or a painting. Well, to me, this one really looks interesting, something that I really want to learn. But again, I am a very lazy painter, so if I were to do this, I would just probably get one automobile and remove everything, or remove other cars on the side. But then again, I realize if I do that, it doesn't look urban sketch anymore. So we're almost at the end. And here, this one is more about, if your reference is about night or during at night. And like this one, I always wanted to try painting something like this, full of people, that that it's a busy scenario, people are just doing their own thing. Whenever you look at it, you'll see or you'll know exactly there's a story behind it. That's why I always wanted to learn something like this, because mine is just a landscape that talks about, or like whenever you see it, you just know it's a beach or it's a nature or something else. But with this one, you get to look at it longer, because you wanted to know, okay, what's happening here. So they are at the bar maybe, or are they eating, or are they at the restaurant, something like that. But I don't know, maybe this book will actually encourage me to do something like this. So again, if this kind of style is not yours, then you can just apply whatever you get, whatever information you get here, and then just apply it in your style. So like as if, like, let's say for me, this kind of colors is not my style. But if I were to paint something like this, I can just use whatever information that I get using my own palette. So here's another artist that they shared. Oh, so there you go. That's the urban sketching and painting all about now. So this is the two books that I got, and I hope you find this book interesting. I will link a book depository and Amazon link down below for you to check if you wanted to buy something like this, or if you wanted to know what other subjects they still have or titles that they still have. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this book review. You can also check another book that I have on my playlist, Art Supplies. I also have a lot of books that I shared on my blog without videos. So just in case you're interested and want to check other things. Now, if you like this kind of videos, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you have a certain book that you're looking for or you wanted to check out. I might have it or not, well, who knows. And you know, I like reading or watching book reviews because if I'm interested about something, then I wanted to know first if I should buy that book. Or sometimes watching book reviews makes me want to buy that book. So I hope you're inspired or encouraged to buy maybe not this one but other books that might help you to improve or hone your skills. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this one, and thank you for spending your time watching this video. Have a good day. Bye bye.